What's up? Ew. I'm never saying that again. It's winter time. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I have not had hot chocolate yet, but that's like, I'm overdue. I wanted to talk about this piece right here. Yeah, I guess before I get started, prayer that you are all doing well. This season, it's a giving season, so even though we probably don't feel like we don't have that much, the homeless population pretty big, so do what you can, trust in the Lord. On Instagram, their name's Art by Janelli, and they basically posted an artist call, and it was basically an invitation to submit artwork for an art show, which is like gonna be a silent auction. So this piece is gonna be auctioned off, and I'm so happy to give it away. I'm so happy it'll go to, someone that could appreciate it. Like I said, I don't really care to have it in my room, so I was more than happy to like give this piece away. And the proceeds are going to VC Defensa in supports of families affected by the immigration policies. So yeah, I'm gonna give this guy away. I actually had this frame already, so I used it in a previous show for my Hope is a Flower poster. It was like ginormous. I just wanted it to be big, like a literal like huge movie poster. Oh my gosh, I have not pressed play. I was supposed to like do that a while ago. It was gonna be way more expensive than I anticipated to be, so I kind of had to pull some strings. So what I did was I reused the frame, and I had already started making icing frames in like the beginning of the year, so I made like smaller ones. So I was like, okay, we're going big with this one. It was definitely like such a science experiment, but it was a lot of fun too. I think this is when my hand started hurting really bad. Like I had literally had to get a glove for like my hand because it just took so long, and it was such a much bigger piece. The fake icing was like a lot thicker. It's such a large piece compared to what I was used to doing. So the icing was not drying, because like the exterior of like these little pieces were drying, but the inside itself was not drying. So I was like, dang, this is not like, it's not solidifying on the inside. So that was a little rough. I'm also super impatient. I needed to like transfer this like around because I needed to get it to Open Door Studio. Shout out Open Door Studio. Love Roxanne. It took so long to dry, and thank God it dried in time. Dang, why is this not playing? I mean, I got it done in advance. The most like important thing is just like being punctual, being ahead of schedule, and I was not like that for like ever. So at this point, I was able to get it done pretty early. That's just the frame part. The little pieces, I just like look online, and like they have like millions of different kinds of charms online that are really fun and cute. They're just like little like plastic pieces. Some of them I actually did make. There's like some little like flower pieces I made out of just Model Magic clay. I added sprinkles, I added like the glitter effects, and I added like the glaze. I basically Mod Podged the entire thing, so that was really rough too, because since I put the Mod Podge on too early, the inside was still gonna be like not solid yet. So, and then I also like pre-mixed everything, because if you probably can't tell right now, but like it's not white, it's like a really 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 light like mint green. Why is this not playing? Hold up, this is like confusing me. Yeah, so that's just the frame. Like I'm just basically yapping with the frame. It was a lot of fun to work on though, because like it was just challenging myself to make a bigger piece, and this is literally the biggest piece I've ever made. It's definitely just as important to give free art as much as it is to capitalize off of it. I think if you do one more than the other, it stops feeling like fun. I think being an artist is a really like heavenly gift, and I think that if it comes naturally, like I absolutely think there's like opportunity to, be able to make, income off of it, even if it's not like, you're paying all your rent, but it's like, it goes, little by little. Like I've been going to art events since like 2022. So it takes a lot of building, but it's so much fun, like in the long run, like, just like I said, doing it for free, and also doing it, like just even giving art away. Like there's so many like events where like so many opportunities where you can just, give art just to give, and, trade. So the inside photo, I made it on my iPad. So I basically painted it through Procreate. I love Procreate so much. I enjoy like physical painting, but there's just something completely different about digital art. I'm just obsessed with digital art. Just having this hybrid of like mixing like traditional mediums with more advanced like just technology itself, like not AI. Painting on the computer. I think when it comes to detail and like attention to detail and just the way like value still works, and also love working with like pixels and vectors and like being able to like zoom in and stuff. So I'm a little iPad baby. Like the finish of how it looks, like especially blown up. So doing research on like Imagineering, and I knew I wanted to make something that mimicked the Haunted Mansion frames inside of like the entranceway. Like and there's those frames that are changing. So like for example, I think there's a woman changes to Medusa. There's a man on a horse and changes to the headless man on like a dead horse. Like I just did my homework, I just did my research. This is the scary picture right here in the back, and then up here in front, and this is the side view. And then this is the regular picture, like the normal picture, it's not scary. This one in the back, the scary picture, has like, I think they use something, I just use neon paint, basically. Like I use neon paint, like UV light paint, to basically have the exact same photo, but now I painted on new details. It's just changing their facial expressions, and I'll show it right now because it requires, the lights need to be off, and basically the picture in the front right now that you see is like perforated. So it means there's just tons of like bunch of tiny little holes. So if you're far away, you can see like the solid picture, like how we can see right now. And then when it turns on, you see the background picture. Yeah, so that's just like the construction of it. And now I'll get to the picture itself. So for the picture itself, there's a couple of things I was thinking while I knew what kind of photo I was gonna make. These are all little like, they're basically like ice cream sundaes, dessert parfaits, in just different colors, different assorted colors. And they're actually sitting on a dining table. Each facial expression, each cup has like, I gave them like their own character trope. I'll just go down and like explain them. So the pink one right here, the one in charge, our antagonist, I made this one the happiest because from everything like I've consumed, like just, character tropes, it seems like the most like, the most like evil one in the room is the one that's like the most smiley, the most like, I can't say ignorant because I feel like they do have like that knowledge of like good and evil, but choose evil. And but I think this one's like the most like prettiest looking, happiest looking out of all of them. So this is like the leader of like, the lead antagonist for this illustration. And then this one is like second in command, the purple one. And I purposely made the ice cream, like the whipped cream on the top of the head, brown, because I feel like this character was giving bystander, and I feel like bystanders, especially when it comes to like people that are like, mean or like bullies, and like, they have like their second in command or like their sidekick. Sometimes I feel like they're just as worse. They're just as bad, if not worse. So I put like brown on their cup because I feel like those tropes of people are like full of shit. So like, yeah, that was like the symbolism I had for that guy. And I made the facial expression like a little more like happy, but it's like a forced type of happy. Like I feel like this one's like completely lying to themselves, because it's like whenever an evil character dies, like the apprentice or the sidekick, like they kind of don't know what to do with themselves because they depended their lives so much on the like villain. So that's that background person. This character, honestly, I was inspired by, if anyone has ever seen like Pickle Juice Nicki Minaj, the clip that just like randomly surfaces around, like I think it's such a funny like campy clip of Nicki Minaj just going off like when she was just early in her career, like talking about like getting what she wants as like a woman like artist, and she just has this crazy pink like ice cream wig on. She has this really pretty, like her makeup looks beautiful, and then she has like this really cute like just like baby like light blue like top, and so that was inspired by her. And she always does a ooh like face. So, but I mean, that's like the inspiration of like the exterior. But for this character, I had this character represent, I guess, people that kind of act like they couldn't know better, like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, like, type of person. So that was that character. And then the one in the back is this little green guy with the purple icing on them, a little dumb smiley face. I think that's like basically for like people that are just like not even pretending to be dull, but just legitimately dull. They're fine being dull, they don't mind being dull. They just want to live, laugh, love on their terms, where it's like the less I know the better. So that's basically all these characters. And this little guy over here I made sad. You can kind of see he has a little like halo when the lights go off, but this little character right here, he's very sad, and he basically is very aware of the demise of everyone else, of everyone's ignorance, everyone's decision making between like good and evil. So these are all basically antagonists, like that guy over there too. Like they're basically all the antagonists. This one's the main though, but this one is just unfortunately just here to, you know, be a witness but doesn't choose evil. So that's why this little guy's all the way in the back, kind of just feeling sorrow for these people. This is my very first time actually like in my life reading the Bible like all the way through. You know what? Hold on. I'm switching my bracelets because my friend Gonzo gave me this beautiful bracelet and I want it to be like, I want to show it off. In the Bible, it's mainly like in Proverbs and Psalms. I recently read Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is a fantastic book. It's so amazing. They're all amazing. But the very first Bible verse that I hadn't been reading the Bible at this time. I just remembered a verse, and it's funny because it's circled from like a SpongeBob meme, where it says, the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. And it's just like SpongeBob with like that stupid look on his face. So obviously it's a real, like the Bible verse is like real, but like just the fact that I got paired with that SpongeBob is so funny to me. Psalms 37:13, for the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. And I think it just shows the relationship between instant gratification, delayed gratification. So this little guy is obviously experiencing delayed gratification. Not a very happy little guy, you know. He's clearly showing his upsetness. And then all these other characters are having a great time. In the animation itself, like, it was just a little clip that I made so far that like this illustration is from. But basically, all of these, like these four characters are like basically plotting on a character that's going to be consuming them, or at least one of them. And this one right here, this little yellow guy, like knows everything that's about to go down. So, but obviously little guy's not participating. I thought it like was a good representation of like, kind of describes the impatience of like, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do good things happen to bad people? And then that's obviously like air quotes around good people, around bad people, because like that's such a general question. And then it's like so surface level, to where we think that justice isn't being served like in front of our eyes means that justice will never be served ever. Therefore, there is no God. Therefore, this is all meaningless. Therefore, the truth is my truth, you know? And we've all been there. We've all asked ourselves those questions, even I have. And when I was reading further, as I was reading like Proverbs and Psalms, it basically talks about, in Psalms, Psalms is basically it's just a really beautiful poem. There's a lot of poetry in the Bible that I encourage people to read. Like it's really like, it's so beautiful. Even like the regular like English versions sound nice, but you know, if you want to get crazy, like there's King James version that goes like all like, you know, old English with it. Psalms 37 verse 10 through 11 says, "For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Ye though shall diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." And people don't like being meek. People, you know, people always see like, you know, good things happening to bad people. And like I said that too. And like it's true, like, you know, a lot of good things do happen to like bad people, like on paper, like, you know, from like, you know, with our eyes, like we see that happening. But it's like at some point like judgment will come. So what I'm getting to with this is the first picture, which is the photo you can see right now, is kind of what you can see like with your eyes. And then the second photo is post-judgment. So with the lights on is the post-judgment picture. So that's pretty much all I just wanted to explain. I mean, I explained so much, but this little guy is gonna leave me, so I wanted to explain everything. Anyone that was interested or curious. So yeah, thanks for listening. Yeah, so I painted like new emotions on them. So basically the first picture, like I was saying, is like pre-judgment. So it's like their life on earth, living la vida loca. They are happy, or at least happy, acting happy, like in their doing what they shall, their wickedness, because like I said, these characters are actually plotting against a character in the animation short that I had made. And like I said, it's these four that are plotting. This one is basically just a witness to all of it, not knowing what to do, being out of a position of power to be able to stop them, because it's like 4-to-1 ratio. Like, what could little guy really do but just be feeling like pain and sorrow. Like I said, it goes back to that verse I was referring to. Second photo is like, yeah, they're post judgment, so now they are suffering, basically met their demise. This character, I had just have basically like a more like wicked face than I already had, with like a serpent tongue and like a Joker looking smile, because this one was always like, basically like the demon. This was always the pure evil, like the antagonist, not even really like a human, whereas these ones are like humans, where like they had that choice. They could have been like been like the meek one over here. Like, yes, this one did get beat up through life, but this one will inherit the earth in the end, because it endured, wanting to live for good and be able to do good. And these ones over here decided to not do that and decided to team up with the evil for this, like, like I said, for the plot of that short animation I made. They're basically plotting on a character, because that character is going to consume one of these, and they know her demise because they're setting her up. So yeah, it's like these ones have like, these like sad, like dreadful faces. This one's kind of hard to see because the outline's already yellow. So this one right here, it's just the same face, honestly. Like, I just made like the same like ooh, like little face. It's like, oops, like I didn't know it was gonna happen. And this one was behind everything all along, and is just happy that it won't be alone, because it's able to drag all these other friends in with them. But this was inspired by a verse from Psalms, and I put my signature over here, and then over here I have this like little cute just little Easter egg like gummy bear that I had like on the frame. It's like trapped inside now. The lights took such a mission to get on. Like, there's like, they're all bordered like around, but they needed to sit a certain way so this effect could work. I'm really happy how the colors turned out. Like I said, this is just neon paint that I basically had like UV, like just bright paint, and then I put over like a coat of like neon paint. I really like how the red cherries came out. It's kind of like one of my favorite parts, and like the stars. Like I said, this is all inspired by just the idea of like, why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? Like, I don't understand this, and like the frustration with it. I used to be so angry about that for so long. I used to have like a lot of like grudges towards so many people, and I truly think like when you put your faith in Christ, like it's absolutely life changing. It changes your perspective on what it means to be meek. Like I said, like meekness is weakness. Like, it actually is stronger than anything. Like, when you see people acting like big babies and like just letting like themselves like act out as if they're a child, it's like you can see like where strength really lies when you have self-control and you have discipline. But that only comes when you put faith in Jesus. And yeah, this is just like a really fun like way to narrate it. Like I said, like the second illustration is like when everyone meets their demise. There will be people that have regret. There are people that are just kind of like, oh well, bummer. This is like very much like, I think this like image itself is like an in the moment illustration of judgment, where it's like they realize it's too late for them because they just spent too much time enjoying the the bad fruits of life. And then this one, you know, obviously, like I said, like knew all along what they were doing, letting these ones get dragged in, or just, you know, dragging them in and then them taking the bait, them consuming the bait. And then this little guy over here, you know, thinking he was going to be an outcast for the rest of his life, will actually be inheriting the kingdom that will be on earth now, post judgment. Judgment Day is a real thing that will happen. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but like I don't just like believe it. Like for me, it's just like it is going to happen. The only way like I work my creative muscle in this way now, and like I do it like with so much passion now and so much confidence, is because I put my faith in Christ. And I think that everyone has such like a natural calling, and you know, if it's not art, it's something. Like there's something that you do naturally. It says, you know, in the Bible, like, do eat, drink, whatever it is, do it all for the glory of God. And I feel like I do have my purpose now, and I do have my calling. I felt so empty for so long. So I encourage you to, you know, even something like a quiet prayer that you ask for an encounter from Jesus, from an encounter from God. And I have all the faith that it will happen, not in the way that you want, but in a very specific personal way. I yeah, it will happen because it happened to me. I think something powerful to look into is just like testimonies of people. But yeah, I'm very happy to be able to share my art. So if you listened up to this point, thank you so much. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But I'll hopefully talk to you guys very soon. So bye. All the way around. And it's basically like the lights you put up in your room with the adhesive. So I just like super glue that thing down.